This is Introducing Herbal Medicine course, video 3, part 2 on how to take herbs. So you can take the whole herb, and most plant material is not toxic, and obviously you'll only take those which are known, like peppermint and oregano, and they could be used in salads, for example, or they could be used as a complement, dried herb in a pepper pot, for example, but there might be a taste. Things like milk thistle seeds could be used in this way, for example, or they can be made into tablets, and this is probably more common. And normally these would contain just under 0.5 gram of herb, and a typical effective dose of a whole herb would be about 3 grams a day. So this would equivalent to 6 capsules. So it means taking a lot of capsules, which is why herbal extracts are a lot more popular. So let's have a look at herbal extracts, and these can be taken as tablets or capsules. So to make them, a dried extract is made from a tincture with the liquid evaporated off to give a solid material. For most herbal extracts, 5 parts by weight of the original dried herb is equivalent to 1 part by weight of the extract, which is called a 5-to-1 extract, although this will vary with the herb. A typical daily dose would be about 600 milligrams of extract, which would be equivalent to about 3 grams of the dried herb if the extract rate is 5-to-1. So when buying over-the-counter products, look for the word extract. Liquid water-based extracts include teas. So teas are made from dried or fresh herb. So particularly useful for leafy material or flowers. A typical dose might be 15 to 30 grams of dried herb as infusion per day, with 3 times that amount for the fresh herb. 500 to 750 mils of boiling water and steep for 20 minutes. Then strain and drink in divided doses if you want. Decoctions, these are made for woody barks and roots and other woody material, where you boil and simmer the herb for about 20 minutes. And you use a typical dose as for the teas which I've mentioned above. So a typical example of a tea might be cold and flu tea, where you could mix together, let me just show you with the pointer, you can mix together elderflowers, peppermint and yarrow together, 100 grams of each, let's say, and then mix together and use 30 grams as infusion per day using boiling water, and drink in divided doses. And you need at least 20 minutes infusion or overnight. So what would this do for cold and flu tea? It would manage a high temperature. It would have an antiviral effect. It would be eliminative, in other words, end products of metabolism which occur more frequently after a viral infection, for example, to relieve aches and pains, and it would reduce upper respiratory symptoms like runny nose, for example. So it's a very good mix, that. Now looking at liquid herbal extracts and tinctures. So tinctures are made on a 3-week maceration is the technical word, using aqueous alcoholic extract, and they're denoted as a 1-to-5 or 1-to-3 extract, meaning 1 part of the dried material by weight to 3 or 5 parts of by volume of aqueous alcohol, which is usually 20 to 30% alcohol. So you leave that for at least 3 weeks or more, and then you strain and discard the residue. A typical dose might be 15 to 20 mils per day of a combined mix of several tinctures. So to summarize on taking herbs, fresh herbs can be cut and added to salads. Dried herbs can be mixed together and taken as an infusion for leafy material or as a decoction for roots and barks. Powdered herbs can be made into tablets or capsules, but they have the disadvantage that they're weak medicine, so a large number of capsules have to be taken. Herbal extract powders are at least 5 times as strong as powdered herb preparations, and so have become very popular because fewer need to be taken. And finally, tinctures, which are much more popular among herbal practitioners. They are a convenient way to take herbs. They can easily be combined into a formula. They keep well, and they are favoured by herbal practitioners. So I hope that's given you a little bit of an idea of how you might use herbs. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you.